Frostbound Redemption. The long winter had descended upon the land of Xar'rin, shrouding the once vibrant landscape in a blanket of unforgiving snow. The bitter cold clawed at our bones as we marched relentlessly, driven by the drums of war that echoed through the frozen valleys. The conflict that had erupted across Xar'rin was unlike any the realm had witnessed before. Dark forces, fueled by ancient grudges and long-buried vendettas, had risen from the shadows, threatening to plunge the entire land into eternal darkness. The very air crackled with magic, and the chilling winds carried whispers of a malevolent power that sought dominion over all. Our army, a coalition of warriors from different realms, forged alliances out of necessity. Knights clad in icy armor, wielding blades infused with frost, marched alongside elven archers whose arrows glinted like shards of ice. Sorcerers, their breath visible in the frigid air, weaved spells to protect our troops from the biting cold and the unseen threats that lurked beyond the veil of snowfall. The War of the Long Winter was a relentless struggle for survival as we pressed forward through the treacherous terrain. Our footsteps left deep imprints in the freshly fallen snow, marking our passage through the desolate landscape. The once lush forests now stood skeletal, their branches burdened with the weight of snow, as if mourning the impending doom that loomed overhead. The enemy, shrouded in shadowy armor that seemed to absorb the weak winter sunlight, emerged from the icy wilderness like specters. Their eyes burned with an unnatural, malevolent glow, reflecting the darkness that had consumed their hearts. As the clash of steel echoed through the icy canyons, the very earth trembled beneath the weight of the conflict. In the heart of this frigid war zone, a mysterious prophecy lingered, spoken by ancient seers who foretold of a hero destined to rise from the chaos. The prophecy whispered of a figure wielding a blade of pure frost, a symbol of hope that could shatter the icy grip of the malevolent forces and bring an end to the long winter. As we trudged onward, the chill in the air seemed to seep into our very souls, testing the resilience of our spirits. The long winter had become a crucible, forging alliances and breaking others, as the fate of Xar'rin hung in the balance. In the midst of the frozen battlefield, the echoes of war and the haunting beauty of the snow-covered landscape bore witness to the epic struggle that unfolded, a struggle that would determine the destiny of a realm trapped in the icy clutches of darkness. The war in Xar'rin raged on, its intensity matched only by the relentless onslaught of the long winter. As the snowstorms grew fiercer, visibility dwindled, turning the battlefield into a chaotic theater where allies and enemies alike became silhouettes against the blinding white landscape. Each skirmish brought new challenges. Hidden traps beneath the snow, ambushes orchestrated by the cunning enemy, and the constant struggle against the elements. Frostbite gnawed at our extremities, and the biting wind threatened to carry away the very breath from our lungs. Yet, we pressed forward, driven by a determination to survive and the desperate hope that the prophecy of the frost blade would come to pass. The hero, the one foretold by the ancient seers, remained elusive. Whispers of their presence circulated among the troops like the howling wind, but their true identity remained a mystery. Some believed the hero to be a legendary warrior from a distant realm, while others thought it might be one of our own, rising from the ranks to fulfill a destiny written in the snow-covered annals of time. In the midst of the chaos, a council of war convened among the leaders of the Allied forces. The cold bites of hunger and fatigue etched lines of weariness on their faces, but the urgency of the situation spurred them to forge new strategies. Plans were hatched to break the enemy's line and uncover the mysterious source of their dark power. The war-torn landscape became a canvas of conflict, marked by the clash of blades, the roar of magic, and the mournful howls of the icy wind. Battles were fought in the shadow of ancient ruins, where the remnants of a forgotten civilization crumbled beneath the weight of war. The very earth groaned as if burdened by the sorrow of witnessing the destruction that unfolded upon its frozen surface. As the weeks passed, the long winter showed no signs of relenting. The snowdrifts grew deeper, and the war's toll weighed heavily on both sides. Yet, hope persisted, fueled by the belief that somewhere in the white expanse, the hero of the frost blade would emerge to turn the tide. In the heart of the battlefield, where the clash of armies reached its crescendo, a figure clad in shimmering frost-kissed armor stepped forward. The hero had arrived, wielding a blade that gleamed with an otherworldly light. A collective gasp swept through the troops as the hero unleashed a wave of frost that engulfed the enemy ranks. The prophecy had come to pass, and the hero, a beacon of hope in the long winter, led the charge against the encroaching darkness. The fate of Xar'rin hung in the balance as the hero carved a path through the frozen battleground, determined to bring an end to the war that had plunged the realm into an abyss of strife and shadows. As the hero of the frost blade pressed forward, the very air seemed to crackle with energy. The dark forces, caught off guard by the sudden appearance of this formidable figure, faltered in their advance. The hero moved with a grace that defied the harsh conditions of the long winter, cutting through the enemy ranks like a tempest of ice. The troops, inspired by the hero's arrival, rallied around this beacon of hope. The tides of war shifted and the Allies surged forward, reclaiming ground that had been lost to the encroaching darkness. Spells clashed in the frozen air, and the clash of blades reverberated through the icy canyons as the hero carved a path toward the heart of the enemy's stronghold. Yet, the dark forces were not so easily vanquished. Their shadowy leader, a malevolent figure shrouded in the same icy armor that marked their minions, stepped forward to confront the hero. The air crackled with tension as the two powerful beings faced off, the fate of Xar'rin hanging in the balance. The battlefield became a stage for an epic confrontation between light and shadow as the hero's frost blade clashed against the dark leader's enchanted weapon. Sparks of magic danced in the frozen air, and the echoes of their battle resonated across the desolate landscape. The troops watched in awe and trepidation as the outcome of this duel would shape the destiny of their war-torn realm. Meanwhile, the long winter continued its relentless assault on both armies. The bitter cold intensified, threatening to freeze the very souls of those caught in its grasp. Frostbite and exhaustion claimed the weakened, and the struggle for survival persisted alongside the conflict between the hero and the dark leader. The hero, drawing upon an inner reservoir of strength, unleashed a flurry of devastating attacks, driving the dark leader back. Yet, the malevolent foe, fueled by the same ancient darkness that had plunged Xar'rin into war, retaliated with a surge of shadowy power. The clash of their blades sent shockwaves through the frozen ground, and the hero knew that victory would not come easily. In the midst of this struggle, a revelation unfolded. The hero, chosen by destiny, bore a connection to the very essence of Xar'rin. The frost blade resonated with the latent magic of the land, and as the hero tapped into this elemental power, the very fabric of the long winter began to unravel. The snowstorms that had obscured the battlefield began to dissipate, revealing the full extent of the war's devastation. The troops, emboldened by the hero's connection to the land, surged forward with renewed vigor. The dark forces, weakened by the dissipation of their enchanted winter, faltered. With a final, resounding clash of blades, the hero overcame the dark leader, severing the malevolent connection that had plunged Xar'rin into chaos. As the defeated enemy crumbled into obscurity, the long winter's grip on the land began to loosen, and a tentative calm settled over the war-torn realm. The hero, their frost blades still aglow with the residual magic of the land, stood amid the remnants of the battlefield. The troops, battered but victorious, gathered around this savior who had emerged from the depths of winter to bring an end to the strife that had gripped Xar'rin. The long winter had finally thawed, and the war-weary realm dared to hope for a new era of peace to dawn upon its frost-kissed lands. With the defeat of the dark forces and the dissipation of the long winter, a hushed stillness settled over Xar'rin. The hero, their frost blade now sheathed, surveyed the battlefield strewn with the remnants of war. The once vibrant landscape, now scarred and wounded, bore witness to the fierce struggle that had unfolded beneath the shadow of the long winter. As the hero turned to address the assembled troops, a sense of weariness and triumph mingled in the air. The soldiers, who had weathered the storm of conflict, looked upon their savior with gratitude and awe. The hero's identity, once shrouded in mystery, became a symbol of resilience and hope, a beacon that had guided them through the darkest of winters. The alliance forged in the crucible of war remained, strengthened by the shared trials and triumphs. With the threat of darkness quelled, the diverse armies that had come together for survival now faced the task of rebuilding Xar'rin. Villages and cities, devastated by the conflict, awaited restoration. The scars left by the long winter would serve as a reminder of the price paid for peace. As the troops dispersed to tend to the wounded and begin the arduous process of reconstruction, whispers of the hero's deeds spread throughout the realm. Songs were sung in taverns, and tales were told by the fireside, recounting the epic clash between light and shadow that had unfolded in the frozen expanse. In the aftermath of the war, the hero, now a living legend, chose not to revel in glory, but instead turned their attention to healing the land. Guided by an innate connection to the elemental magic that flowed through Xar'rin, the hero worked to mend the wounds inflicted upon the realm. Slowly but surely, life began to stir beneath the snow, and the promise of spring whispered through the icy winds. The war-weary people of Xar'rin, though scarred by the trials of the long winter, embraced the opportunity for renewal. The heroes and heroines who had fought side by side, transcending the boundaries of race and faction, now stood united in the face of a shared destiny. The realm, emerging from the crucible of war, looked toward a future where the shadows of conflict could be replaced by the warm embrace of peace. And so, as the first buds of spring pierced through the thawing snow, the people of Xar'rin began the journey of rebuilding, their spirits tempered by the enduring memory of the long winter and the hero who had emerged to guide them into a new era, one where the echoes of war would be replaced by the whispers of a hopeful and harmonious future.